Good morning, my name is Elin, and today Simone and I are going to present to you tocilizumab as a potential COVID-19 therapeutic drug. First of all, I want to introduce a little bit about the drug. Its generic name is tocilizumab or adlizumab, and its brand name is called Actemra, or in some cases Roactemra. Tocilizumab is a humanized recombinant monoclonal antibody against interleukin-6, also called IL-6, which can be a pro-inflammatory cytokine and can play a role in the autoimmune diseases. Tocilizumab is currently mainly used in treatment for rheumatoid arthritis, also called RA, which is a chronic autoimmune disease affecting 1% of the population and is characterized by a synovial inflammation of the joints. It is also approved by US FDA for the treatment of giant cell arteritis, polyarticular juvenile idiopathic arthritis, and systematic juvenile idiopathic arthritis. All four of the diseases are inflammatory autoimmune diseases, implying the function of tocilizumab as an immunosuppressant. Next, I want to talk about how tocilizumab works as a interleukin-6 receptor antagonist. So tocilizumab and interleukin-6 both bind to the soluble and membrane-bound receptor IL-6R, which is interleukin-6 receptor. However, tocilizumab has a much larger binding affinity to IL-6R with a smaller dissociation constant of 2.5 nanomolar compared to IL-6. It thus outcompetes IL-6 and blocks the IL-6 trans signaling pathway, which is mainly moderated by the JAK-STAT tyrosine kinase system and RAS-MAPK and FKB IL-6 pathway. Specifically, in the case of rheumatoid arthritis, tocilizumab helps reduce the rheumatoid factors, which associated with immune complexes can enhance local inflammation in RA patients. It also reduces the bone resorption caused by osteoclasts, which are activated by IL-6 signaling. So when tocilizumab blocks the IL-6 signaling pathway, there is also inhibited differentiation of the inflammatory T helper cell 17 and inhibited pro-inflammatory cytokines secreted by it. The figures on the next slide shows how tocilizumab affects RA treatment by blocking the IL-6 signaling on a cellular level.
The next thing we have are the delivery routes for the drug. There are two delivery routes, which are subcutaneous injection and intravenous injection. For subcutaneous injection, this involves the syringe and needle in which you are able to self-inject the drug just underneath the skin, or you can have a caregiver inject for you. The intravenous injection, however, is done by a healthcare professional, typically not at home, and they do it through the IV drip, which could take up to 60 minutes for the infusion to occur. Regardless of the route of delivery, the drug product of the two forms should be similar. The manufacturing process for one should not drastically change the attributes of the drug. Okay, so for our dosage, half-life, and elimination, our absorption half-life is between 2 and 4 days, bioavailability between 80 and 96%, and this drug works within 2 weeks of administration. It takes about 3 days, though, to reach maximum concentration for weekly doses and 4.5 to 4.7 days for doses every other week. This drug goes through biphasic elimination through circulation, and in this biphasic elimination, the volume distribution at steady state is equal to the sum of the two volumes of central volume distribution and peripheral volume distribution. For central volume distribution, we have 1.87 SJIA, 1.98 PJIA, 3.5 RA, or 4.09 GCA liters. Peripheral volume distribution is 2.14, 2.1, 2.9, or 3.37 liters in the same order. Those again sum to the volume of distribution at steady state. Then we have that the elimination is a combination of linear clearance at saturation and nonlinear elimination at lower concentrations. The nonlinear elimination is concentration dependent, following Michaelis-Menten kinetics, and anti-drug antibodies have not been observed, so we can say that no resistance to the drug develops. Finally, the half-life of the drug varies based on concentration, but is seen to be between 10 and 20 days at steady state. Some contraindications and side effects of this drug. Because tocilizumab prevents IL-6 from binding to the IL-6R receptor and therefore inhibiting the immune response, you can consider this drug as an immunosuppressant. And it's dangerous. You should not use it with existing infections. You should avoid exposure to tuberculosis, and you should not administer live vaccines while using this drug as a result of that. We also have that anaphylactic sensitivity to the drug precludes its use. Gastrointestinal perforations sometimes occur, usually as a complication of diverticulitis or while taking nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory medications. Headaches often occur immediately after treatment. Elevated liver enzymes can happen in rare cases, and this can sometimes lead to hepatotoxicity. As another effect, elevated lipid levels occurs in about 20% of patients and only 10% on placebo.
Based on our research, we discovered the potential of tocilizumab as a therapeutic drug for COVID-19. When the human body is invaded by bacteria or viruses, the immune system will release a large number of cytokines. In this outbreak of COVID-19, some infected patients will suddenly worsen in the later stage and eventually die from multiple organ failures. And the aggravation was mainly caused by cytokine storm. A number of recently published articles have analyzed the clinical characteristics of COVID-19 patients and pointed out that the high levels of IL-6 and other cytokines in vivo were the main cause of the cytokine storm. And IL-6 is also considered to be a key mediator of the cytokine release syndrome, which is associated with the cytokine storm. Thus, tocilizumab, which inhibits IL-6, can potentially block cytokine storm and could be effective in COVID-19 treatment.
Next thing we're going to see is the market size. We have, as of yesterday, October 29, 2020, the World Health Organization reported over 44 million confirmed cases and nearly 500,000 new cases of COVID-19 across the world. And in this diagram, we see the total number of cases per 1 million in population across the globe. And even with the slope, we see the cases are still growing. The prevalence of this condition actually gives us an opportunity. It gives you an opportunity to change the world. It gives you an opportunity because, actually, according to the CDC, there's no FDA-approved drugs on the market. No FDA-approved drugs that are safe, effective. So there's a lot of opportunity for making a big impact on the world and public health, and we're requesting for funding for further research and for if this research indicates that we should move forward into the clinical trial stage, then we want to use your investment to organize and conduct randomized controlled trials, and in the hopes of identifying tocilizumab as a beneficial drug for the treatment of COVID-19, which the CDC suggests that investigational therapies be done in these type of trials. So, given the physiological impacts of this coronavirus, COVID-19, on the US and global populations, we feel that it's important and we feel that your investment would go toward a good cause. And we thank you for your time.